Welcome, everyone. The City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City will meet in a regular meeting in City Hall Council Chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas, on Tuesday, July 28th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. I will now call this meeting to order. If you could please stand, if you're able to, for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, your grace, your love, and your guidance as we come together tonight as a community. Father, give us wisdom, clarity, respect, and leadership as we work every day to overcome the challenges and embrace the opportunities that you've laid before us. Please, every day, bless and keep safe our staff, first responders, military, and citizens. May all we do shine a light on you, and may you keep Gun Barrel City in your arms always. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. I'd now like to establish a quorum if I can. Roll call from my left, please.
Burns here.
Lander here.
Jacobs here.
Proper here.
Edwards here.
We have a quorum. Citizens' communications, limited to 3 minutes. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.007, members of the public may speak on any topic. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and no action may be taken by the council. Any response from a member of the City Council to non-agenda comments is limited to a statement of facts, specific factual information, and a recitation of existing policy or direction to staff for follow-up. We have a lot of speakers tonight, so I do not want to delay, but I first want to get this out of the way. I spoke last meeting at the City Council during citizens' comments, and I made a couple mistakes that I would like to apologize for. The first one, I used a poor choice of words. I said those people. Actually, a gentleman who asked to speak with me via email, and I appreciated his dialogue and his communications with me, pointed this out. I'd like to thank Ron Helms for his ability to speak with me. We had a 45-minute conversation that went extremely, I think, way different than we had anticipated, but I appreciated his time and his dialogue. But at first, I want to apologize for making those statements. Second, I made those statements here from the dais. I should have gone to the podium. I should have relinquished my chair here, given that to our Mayor Pro Tem, and I apologize for that. So without further ado, that out of the way, we'll move on. Our first speaker tonight is Mr. Otto.
When does my time start? Where is it? I don't see any timer. Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Mayor, I appreciate you for saying so. That does drastically change what I was going to say here tonight. So I sincerely appreciate you. But, you know, I'm still going to have to chastise you a little bit. You shouldn't have done that. I think somebody should have probably told you not to do that. Your supporters online took that and ran with it. Very nasty, mean people on the internet. I've met a few of those mean, nasty people on the internet, and they're mean and nasty. And we don't need that kind of rhetoric disrupting peaceful discourse in this country. Because if we can't get along well enough to disagree with one another, then what kind of country do we really even have? You know, a famous old man who I think is dead now, said, if you outlaw peaceful protest, you make violent revolution inevitable. And, well, they didn't like that very much, so he didn't make it very long. You know, that's part of that second part that he was talking about. So I appreciate you for manning up and apologizing to the citizens for that. Can I get 6 minutes instead? Or is that only afforded to the mayor when he's on the diatribe? You know what I mean? Thank you, sir. I'll yield back. You took it very well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I do. Next up, Jay Burson.
Hello, Mayor and Council, citizens. My name is Jay Burson. I live at 105 Gale Drive, Gun Barrel City, Texas. I'm going to read this real fast because I got to get it in 3 minutes. I stand before you not as someone looking for a fight, but for someone who believes this council has a duty to protect the rights and property and uphold the law even when it's inconvenient. This isn't about stopping development. It's about making sure developments follow the same rules every property owner is expected to follow. The recorded plat I have in hand for the subdivision that includes Pier 334 and adjacent land homeowners dating back to 1966 is a legal plat on record in Henderson County. The easement has never been unlawfully abandoned or vacated. I have one simple question. By what legal authority can the city allow a permanent stone wall to be constructed within that dedicated easement? The city does not own the easement. They only maintain. It exists for the benefit of the public. A site plan was approved by the city. The site plan does not approved by the city does not erase the recorded plat in Henderson County. A developer's preference does not erase a recorded plat, and convenience does not erase a recorded plat. Yet we now have a project designed so that a stone wall will be sitting a few feet away from the roadway in the dedicated easement, potentially occupying space that has been dedicated to the public for 60 years. The council owes the citizens more than just trust us, it owes us answers. Show the public where the easement was legally abandoned or vacated, which is required by Texas law. Show the public the authority that the city council has to allow a permanent wall or cutting down mature trees in the dedicated public easement. If these documents do not exist, then this project needs to be corrected before another yard of concrete is poured. I have an attorney on retainer and the city council has been notified. Anyone who needs reference, please read the Texas Constitution, Article 3, Sections 49 through 52. When I was on council seated in place 4, I was told by Mayor Brian Crowell if I weaponized his project in reference to Pier 334, I would pay a price. I took that as a personal threat, whether financially or physically. Texas Penal Code 2207A6 says if one elected official threatens another elected official, is intended to influence or conduct or activities of a government body, then it is referenced Texas Penal Code 3606. It is obstruction or retaliation may be applied if this threat is made because of official services and duties. These words have no place in a public service. No elected official should ever be threatened for asking questions or raising legitimate concerns about a public project, especially by another elected official. Thank you for your time. Is there any questions? And I have a plat if anybody would like to see it. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Mr. Ron Helms.
Good evening, Council. Where's the Chief of Police? Is that you? All right. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the conversation. It was a very respectful conversation. I hope that it's an example of respectful dialogue being created. Obviously, there were a lot of very bad tensions when it comes to local politics, and that affects not just Gun Barrel, but a lot of small towns in Texas. I found the smaller the city, the more exponential those problems become. So it's good to see that the mayor is able to engage in respectful dialogue. I don't get that in a lot of places. As a matter of fact, some mayors like to arrest me, so that's fun. What I became interested in Gun Barrel was actually back in March. It has to do with the police department. So there are a lot of great officers out there that serve our communities, and they deserve absolute respect. They deserve more money, a lot more money. The problem is there's a lot of bad cops that fuck over a lot of good cops. So that's why this is pointed over here. I'm not calling anybody a bad officer, but when I'm getting tips from your community about investigations, so let's just go ahead and walk through this one. Say you have a relative that dies in their home, right? And hopefully there's no children here. Dies in their home, right? So there's blood throughout the house, blood from the bed to the bathroom, I believe, all throughout the house, right? Kind of odd. It got classified, my understanding, as a lower GI bleed out. Oh, just typical lower GI bleed out, right? Even though there was allegedly a witness that saw a car parked outside of this house, and I only have a minute left, and I have a little more details to get through. So if the council would love to make a motion to give me a few more minutes, that would be appreciated, considering we like to bend the rules. Actually, I think it would be good if you could go ahead and consider that a normal practice. Sometimes people come up here and clearly discuss some issues that are quite important, and sometimes we just need a little bit more time. So it's nice to be able for that to work both ways. But back to my point, it got classified as a lower GI bleed out, and I don't know if that's what happened or not. All I know is I have tips that come to me, and whenever stuff like that comes to me, it's kind of a huge red flag. I like to stand up for our good police officers again, because they often get fucked by bad police officers. So obviously there's a lot of tensions with Gun Barrel Police Department over time. Whatever's going on, I don't know. I'm just here to advocate for making sure that all investigations are handled properly, because it's an absolute tragedy when you have families in Gun Barrel reaching out to a no-name journalist for assistance because the police department didn't help them. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker will be Amaris Faith.
Amaris Faith, Gun Barrel City. I noticed that the mayor is very good about giving himself special privileges, but not the citizens of this area, and that is one of the problems that I've had with Gun Barrel City government. It is that there are the haves and the have-nots. And while I understand that there are people that are in the have group and they get their special needs met, there are many of us that are have-nots. And these are the people that I stand here and defend every time that I come. It's the reason that I have a group on Facebook called Unfiltered, because those people need to have a voice too. So let me just talk about why the mayor only apologized to a few people. He did not apologize to me, who was actually the target of his diatribe, that 6-minute diatribe. And the reason he didn't do that is because it was full of lies. He lied and lied and lied and lied, and yet he's the man who calls me out and says that I'm the one who's always spewing out misinformation. Well, I always have something that documents what I have said. And so I want to talk to you about the reason why he went off on 6 minutes on personal issues is because he can't defend this animal control ordinance. It is indefensible. And the reason why is because it is a caricature of what good legislation ought to be. We pointed this out in 2024, and we repealed it, and then we did it again in 2026 when they continued to push it through. Let's talk about some of the issues that we have with it. For example, there's continuous compliance pressure. There's a combination of mandatory registration, tag collar required at all times, each day plus each animal equals a separate misdemeanor. That means that every single person who owns an animal in this city is under the gun that it will at some point, they are going to have a misdemeanor. For example, it says here in 90.07B, animals defecating in public places. It shall be unlawful for the owner to permit, either willfully or through failure, to exercise care and control for any dog to defecate on any private property not his own. That means that if Timmy took Lassie down there to Lowe's and Lassie had an accident in aisle 9, that is a misdemeanor under this ordinance. It doesn't matter that Lowe's doesn't care, that they can have a cleanup policy. The city has now removed that from their position. It also says that if I want, Aunt Polly to take care of my dogs while I go on vacation, I can't let my dogs poop in her yard because that is private property that doesn't belong to me. And so these things compound over and over. And while I appreciate that my 3 minutes is up, I still would like to ask for the next 3 minutes, Mayor, please.
Are you done?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, 3 minutes is up.
Well, I have 3 more minutes then,
I know, but
according
this
to
is
you.
limited to 3 minutes. We'll have another city council meeting next month. You'd be more than welcome to speak at that point in time.
Yes, sir, and you spoke for
Our
6
next-
minutes straight.
Our next speaker will
As
be
a
Rachel
resident,
Hammer.
6 minutes straight as a resident. You did that. And now you're saying that I can't speak for 6 minutes. Why is that? It's not your turn.
Our next speaker is Rachel Hammer. This is your first warning. I will ask you to please kindly take your seat. If you continue to stand there, I will give you a second warning. I now give you a second warning. I'll please ask you to take your seat and relinquish the podium so someone else can speak. On the third, I will have to ask you to be escorted out. Chief Stevens, please.
Rochelle Hammer, County, Gun Barrel City. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm here tonight to speak about the animal ordinance that was recently repealed. Unfortunately, many of the signatures gathered in support of that repeal were, in my opinion, obtained through fear and misinformation. Citizens were told their pets would be taken away if they didn't sign the petition. That was simply not true. I believe anyone making that claim either failed to read the ordinance or intentionally misrepresented what it actually said. I encourage every citizen to read the ordinance for themselves instead of relying on interpretations designed to fit someone's personal or political agenda. An informed community deserves facts, not fear. Secondly, I think it's important to consider not only the message but also the messenger. While I applaud citizens for holding elected officials accountable, I find it hypocritical for Mayor Spaeth to repeatedly criticize what she calls wasteful government spending while, in my view, contributing to unnecessary use of public resources herself. She reported to law enforcement that I threw water on Winston Otto Knowles. While I was exercising my own right to peacefully respond to his sidewalk display, I strongly disagree with the characterization of what occurred. Additionally, city employees were required to spend time removing the chalk from the sidewalk, another use of taxpayer-funded resources. Now, Ameris is criticizing the cost of the special election this November, the very animal ordinance she helped place before the voters. If she believed the ordinance should be repealed through petition process, then she should also accept the cost of allowing the community to have a direct vote on the issue. That election will provide the clearest representation of where the citizens truly stand. As for my interaction with Otto, I've had some time to reflect. I realize I wasn't very welcoming, so tonight I'd like to correct that. I'd like to present Otto with this gift as a welcome to our community, but not the circus that seems to follow him wherever he goes. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Lana Aarons.
Can I see my time, please? My name is Lana, and I live in Gun Barrel City. I want to thank Mayor Brian Kroll for inviting Otto and his friends tonight. When he referred to those people, he was referring to people like me, who are his constituents, who have voiced concerns in the past. We've done it respectfully. We've done it the right way. We've done it by filing complaints with the Attorney General and the Bar Association and the county sheriffs. And I also want to thank Matt Proper. If y'all will look up there, he's making eye contact. And Mr. Edwards, thank you for making eye contact with me. I really appreciate that. Mr. Doug Landers, thank you very much. I haven't had the honor of meeting y'all, but I can see that you respect the citizens when they speak. And Brian Kroll knows me well. Brian Kroll calls me 5 a.m. in the morning telling me I'm doing a great job. He hugs me in public. He tells me how wonderful Reach is, and I'm doing so much great things for the community. So I was really shocked when I found out that he was telling everyone my nonprofit is a scam, that I'm a fraud, and my board is full of horrible people that will ruin their cities. I found out by talking to the mayors, the council members, and other business leaders that at these mayor coalition meetings, he's using it to obsessively talk trash about me and members of my board. We do a lot for this city. We bring in important tax revenue. We have an art workshop where we meet right here in Gun Barrel at Starbucks. There are members on the pro-Kroll side and the anti-Kroll side that show up, and we just create art together. And he's around here calling us a scam, calling us a fraud, trying to discredit the hard work that we're doing while telling me how wonderful I am and hugging me and getting a freaking duck for our Duck Days event. And he can't even give me eye contact. Is it a thing with women, sir? Because I noticed you didn't give Amaris eye contact either. Thank you. I asked for a meeting. I asked politely for a meeting. You refused. Then you said you want to bring your wife. I said, fine, you can bring your wife. But if you're bringing your wife, I'm bringing someone too. I'm not going to be attacked by you and your wife telling me what a great guy you are. You're not a great guy. You're a snake, you're a liar, and I hate you.
Thank you. Next up, Cindy Key.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Interim City Manager. My name is Cindy Key. I live at 312 Canoe Court, Gun Barrel City. The city lost its best cheerleader when Ron Wyrick passed. He was at every event, everywhere, cheering the city on. I still believe the new firehouse should be named for him. I'm only a minor league cheerleader by comparison. Thank you to the city staff, to the board and all the boards and the council, everyone who has had a positive influence on Gun Barrel. I appreciate you. My husband and I both appreciate you. He's unable to be here because he has a fractured ankle. We've been here 10 years this week. We love this city. We love our neighbors. We love our church, family, and the people that we've met here. Please keep in mind that those who love this city are the majority, and the negative minority are exactly that, a minority. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Ms. Renee Weaver, please.
Hi. Mr. Proper, thank you so much for paying attention to everybody that spoke. Ms. Burns, you've paid attention to about 50%. Doug Landers, about the same, but thank you so much for paying attention to the people that took the time to come out and speak. You don't have to agree with them. We all don't agree, but that's okay, right? So I am here today to speak about leadership. Leadership matters. Public office comes with a responsibility to be honest, respectful, and accountable to the people that you serve. Unfortunately, that has not been my experience with Mayor Kroll. You recently, last year, sent me a text message that said, "There's a lot of bad rhetoric on social media, I am told. I don't have social media, but I have people who monitor it for me." If that's true, Mayor Kroll, I want to remind you that the public officials cannot use others to do what they legally cannot do. If individuals are managing or moderating your official mayor page, social media, or any other kind of social media on your behalf, they need to understand TOMA, they need to take the class, they need to understand what records retention is, and what a public official's obligations are concerning constituent access. That's something you need to take serious. Official communication needs to be preserved. That would be with your city secretary. Those acting on behalf of a public official should also understand those responsibilities. But this is going to go beyond social media. This is not an isolated incident. What he did to Amiris last month is just a repeat of what he has done to others. Maybe not from his seat there, but it's something that's continued. He has used his position as mayor during the Mayor's Coalition meetings to disparage me and other citizens. I don't live in Gun Barrel City. Doesn't matter where I live. I was the biggest cheerleader Gun Barrel used to ever have. That went away in 2022. I have screenshots, I have proof, and it's the same thing as Lana said. He wouldn't meet with me, he wanted it only on his terms, et cetera, et cetera. But that's okay, he still denies it anyway. The role of the mayor is to represent all of the citizens, not just the ones who agree with you. Residents are not required to share your opinions or support your decisions. They have a constitutional right to question their government, criticize elected officials, organize one another, and even coordinate a referendum if that's what they choose. Exercising those rights is not illegal, and it should never be treated as such. Attacking and disparaging citizens because you disagree with them, that's against their constitutional right. That's an abuse of public trust. I just want this council to remember that public trust is earned through honesty, professionalism, and integrity. It's not by talking about citizens behind their backs, denying the truth when confronted, or allowing rumors to replace facts. I hope that the council can move forward with government that values transparency, accountability, and respect for your citizens, regardless if you choose to support them, if they choose to support the mayor or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Carrie Kirksmith.
Can I knock these off? No, I guess I'll leave them there. Carrie Kirksmith, 332 Overlook, Gun Barrel City. You know, I got to say, this is just ridiculous. This dog tax business is not a dog tax. Registering your dogs and all that kind of thing is just, you know, what you do if you're responsible. So that whole conversation's ridiculous. What's not ridiculous is the clown show. I mean, this is just like, come on, people. You guys are trying to make some money on Facebook, is that it? Are you funded by Zuckerberg or maybe Soros? I don't know. But anyhow, you guys up there, the council, I really appreciate you. Welcome to our new interim city manager. We miss Angie. She did a good job. And you all are doing a great job. And don't let this subterfuge wear you down like I'm sure it must be to a certain degree. But there's plenty of us out here who know you, love you, and appreciate the way you do interact with us and the things that you're, you know, the visions that you have for our city. I can't thank our own April Burns enough, and I'm glad to see Doug up here now and all the rest of y'all, Matt and such, but you guys don't get distracted by that. I'm sure that it's, you know, it's not easy to just kind of turn your back on all that. I know I have a hard time with it. But just keep in mind, everybody, that social media interaction feeds them. So I would urge everybody to just stay the heck off of Facebook and stay off of these forums and just leave it alone. These people are going to dry up and go away eventually. So that would be my advice, because personally, it's not worth the aggravation to look at all that crap. Sorry. That's all I got. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Robin Sikora.
My name is Robin Sikora. I live at 219 Seaside Drive. I'd like to thank you, Mayor Kroll and council members, for hearing me today. I'm a citizen and registered voter in Gun Barrel City, and I would like to say that I'm very pleased with my city's administration. Mayor Brian Kroll has done a wonderful job of keeping the city on a path of continued improvement while maintaining open communication with city staff and the citizens. I see a mayor and city council working together with the same goal in mind, what is best for the citizens and the city as a whole. Our city staff continue to impress me with their ability to accomplish so much with their limited staff. It is a testament to their years of experience to be able to pull this off. Many thanks to everyone at City Hall for all they do for our community. I hope everyone has enjoyed driving on Harbor Point Road. The improvements there are very noticeable for me, especially in my Jeep Wrangler. Kudos to our street department for the many projects they are constantly working on. Not all of them are main thoroughfares, but they all make a difference. Gun Barrel City's police and fire departments are amazing. They are available to speak to if you have any questions or concerns. They're available and willing to present at groups. Their goal is to have a positive interaction with the public as much as possible. Please remember, our police and fire departments are here to protect us. I am very grateful for them. I also appreciate that Gun Barrel City has an animal control department with an option to register my pets. My parents got me a puppy before I was born. I have always had pets, and they have always been registered in the cities I've lived in. Animal control is an important part of any city. I have 2 dogs and 1 cat, and I have registered them with the city of Gun Barrel. Before we lived here, we lived in Richardson, Texas, and our animals were registered there. I am very happy to register my pets to ensure they will get back to me if they somehow get out of my yard. There has been a petition brought to repeal the latest revised animal control ordinance signed by just over 200 registered voters. These citizens have made their voice heard. I am looking forward to the opportunity in November to make my voice heard when this ordinance is put to a vote for the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, our next speaker, Eric Killian.
Distinguished Mayor, distinguished members of the City Council, and distinguished members of the public of Gun Barrel City, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Eric Killian. I'm a realtor at 600 West Main down here in Gun Barrel City. And I came with a proposal, an idea to consider on a positive note. As many of you are aware, there's no shortages of ideas on how a city can spend money that would cost money. But finding an idea where you can spend money that can also improve the happiness and well-being of the public while also generating income of the city are typically rare to find. The idea I have is increasing the third spaces of Gun Barrel City through expansion of the city park system. As such, there's a key piece of real estate that's for sale on the islands between Tom Finley Park and Dirk's Restaurant. It's about 10.68 acres. They're asking about $5.5 million right now, but I've talked to them, that's negotiable. I know that's a big piece of money for a piece of property. But anytime in a city where you can increase third spaces, you increase the happiness of the public. It gives the public a place to go, to stretch their legs, to relax. While also with this key piece of real estate, with the size of it and the location, over time it would be great for income revenue generation for the city through things such as maybe like a food truck park there, RV camping sites, building another public boat ramp there, plus increasing the revenue generated through the Tom Finley Park admissions there. So anytime we can increase those third spaces, we increase the happiness of the public. A happy public is a good public. Plus, I believe it would also help increase the tourism to Gun Barrel City. As many of y'all know, a lot of our revenue in this city is based not just on the populace that lives here full-time, but on people who come in weekends, 4th of July, holidays, things like that. So having extra spaces for our tourists and our visitors to come would also increase revenue to our local businesses, which I'm sure none of our local businesses would complain about that, which to the city would then increase that tax revenue off of sales, eating at restaurants, shopping at shops, any of the great things that our citizens do to make a living in our city. So it is my idea that right now the city consider that property, because once that property's gone and gets developed to something else, it'll be a long time coming before such a property, such a key piece of real estate becomes available again. And I've seen what the city has done so far with its wonderful park system over on the other end of town and the happiness that that brings to the public. So I thank you for your time and for your consideration in this matter. And thank you for letting me speak, everybody, and y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. We have one other speaker. Shannon, I want to make sure that you want to speak at the agenda item. Is that correct? Okay. Moving on, number 6, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items if discussion is desired. That item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Consider approving the following reports. 6A, June 8th, 2026, special meeting minutes. 6B, June 23rd, 2026, regular meeting minutes. And 6C, the EDC May 2026 financials. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as is.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, a vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Proper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7, new business, 7A. Consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-014, approving a municipal maintenance agreement with TxDOT for the maintenance, control, supervision, and regulation of state highways within the corporate limits of the city, authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement. Our sponsor on this will be our interim city manager, Steve Norwood. I will first read into the record the resolution. Resolution number R-2026-014, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, approving a municipal maintenance agreement, Form 1038, with the state of Texas, acting by and through the Texas Department of Transportation for the maintenance, control, supervision, and regulation of state highways within the corporate limits of the city, authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement and all related exhibits, and providing an effective date. Mr. Norwood?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This item, we have a representative from TxDOT here, Eduardo Castaneda, who will present this item. He has a PowerPoint, and this is pretty much just going over what the rules are as far as maintenance on highways, what their responsibility is, as well as what the city's responsibility. It's very, very few changes, if any. It's just more of a clarification. MyCal and Streets has reviewed this and concurs. It's pretty much formalizing what we've been doing to date. So with that, I'll turn it over to TxDOT.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eduardo Castañeda. I go by Eddie. Basically, I'm the area engineer for the Henderson County area. With me, I have Zach Shoemaker. Basically, we were asked to present it to the council formally, but it's an agreement that we have in place with the city. Basically, we've had several changes recently that we need to get in writing, formalized. We do have an existing agreement, but this basically authorizes TxDOT to do work within the city limits. Aside from that, I don't have a whole lot of updates. If you guys have any questions. And so this is basically the roads within the city of Gun Barrel that TxDOT maintains and oversees. One being Main Street, or State Highway 334 as we know it, and State Highway 198 within the city of Gun Barrel. And then, so the exhibit you have on the screen is a separate project that we have upcoming, which I also wanted to talk to you guys about a little. We do have an improvement project coming up at the intersection of State Highway 198 and State Highway 334, where we're proposing to add raised medians, about the limits, several hundred feet from the intersection on all 4 directions. And this is a project that has previously been approved by the city. Those are just some of the key topics of the project. It's essentially to address several safety factors that we have at this intersection.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Questions for staff? Thank you very much. Appreciate you. If no further discussion, do I have a motion?
I motion to consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-014, approving a municipal maintenance agreement with TxDOT for the maintenance, control, supervision, and regulation of the state highways within the corporate limits of the city, authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Roper, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote from my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Roper, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Lander, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7B, C and D, an unsafe structure. 7B, a public hearing to discuss the unsafe structure located at 160 Box Road, Gun Barrel City, Texas. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on said property? If none, hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. 7C, consider and take action to determine whether the structure located at 160 Box Road, Gun Barrel City, Texas, is considered unsafe. Speaking on this will be our building superintendent and official, Shannon Wiggins, please.
Good evening, council. 160 Box Road, we've been working this for about 4 years. We've had zero contact with the owners, no replies. And our recommendation, I don't know if you got any pictures, Shannon? I'm sorry. You can tell it's pretty bad. And our staff's recommendation is to consider unsafe and order demolition. We have an estimated contractor cost of $5,600 on this outside contractor.
And this will come out of the funds that we've previously set aside for demo.
I couldn't hear.
That'll come out of the funds that we've already set aside.
Yes, it's in our budget. Yes, ma'am.
Just flat work, leaving anything buried?
Well, what?
Is it just flat work, leaving everything buried that's buried?
Yeah, they'll do dirt work. If they leave any holes or anything, they'll bring some dirt in and smooth it out, but
Okay.
yeah, they have to do that.
Any further discussion or questions for staff? Thank you, Shannon. 7D. Oh,
My motion,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I'd
Can
like
I
to
get a
make-
motion on 7C?
I'd like to make a motion to take action to determine whether structure located at 160 Box Road is unsafe.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
A motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote from my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Roper, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Lander, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7D, consider and take action to adopt order 160 Box Road, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 160 Box Road, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Again, our sponsor on this will be our building official, Shannon Wiggins. I will first read into the record the order. Order 160 Box Road, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for the human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures be abated, and ordering the demolition thereof. You guys have any other further questions for Shannon? None, then I will ask for a motion.
I move that we take action to adopt Order 160 Box Road, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of the structure located at 160 Box Road, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
A motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes. Jacobs, yes.
Roper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7E, F, and G, unsafe structure. 7E, a public hearing to discuss the unsafe structure located at 304 Valley View, Gun Barrel City, Texas. I will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on said property? Having none, I will now close the public hearing. 7F, consider and take action to determine whether the structure located at 304 Valley View, Gun Barrel City, Texas, is considered unsafe. Mr. Wiggins?
Okay, this property, last contact we had was by a tenant in 2022. We sent out all the letters. Nothing's come back. No reply. 3 years ago, they come in, gutted the house, going to remodel. No permits. And it still sits like it was 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, I guess, now. And we have an estimated cost for this one for $5,300. And our recommendation is to consider unsafe and demo.
I drove by this house and looked inside.
Nice, isn't it?
You know, because you can see through that window, and it's torn up inside. It's unfortunate.
Questions for staff? If none, do I have a motion?
I motion to consider and take action to determine whether the structure located at 304 Valley View, Gun Barrel City, Texas is considered unsafe.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Roper, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes. Jacobs, yes.
Roper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7G, consider and take action to adopt Order 304 Valley View, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 304 Valley View, Gun Barrel City, Texas. Shannon just made his presentation. I will now read into the record the order, Order 304 Valley View, an order making findings of fact, finding certain buildings and structures within the city limits to be dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for the human habitation, and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare of the city's residents, ordering the buildings and structures to be abated, and ordering the demolition thereof. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we take action to adopt Order 304 Valley View, making findings of fact and ordering the demolition of structures located at 304 Valley View, Gun Barrel City, Texas.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Roper, yes.
Jacobs, yes. Lander, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes. 7H, consider and take action to adopt ordinance number O-2026-035, calling a special election for November the 3rd, 2026, to submit to the voters a proposition initiated by referendum relating to the repeal of ordinance number O-2026-003, amending the Animal Control and Appendix 1 fee schedule. Our sponsor on this will be our City Secretary, Janet Dillard. I will first read the ordinance into the record. Ordinance number O-2026-035, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, calling a special election to be held on November the 3rd, 2026, to submit to the voters a proposition initiated by referendum relating to the repeal of ordinance number O-2026-003, amending Animal Control and Appendix 1 fee schedule, which was passed by the City Council, and establishing procedures for said special election. Janet?
Thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me? Included in your packet is an ordinance calling a special election for November 3rd, 2026, for the purpose of voting on a proposition initiated by a referendum relating to the repeal of Ordinance O 2026-003 that was adopted on April 28th of this year regarding animal control. The city contracts with Henderson County to conduct our local elections, and I've included a couple sections here for you from that ordinance, including ballot language that will be used for this election. This ordinance has been seen by our city attorney, and staff recommends adoption of the ordinance. I've included a timeline of events prompting the need to call a special election for you here, and included in your packet and also showcased here is the order of election that was approved by the Commissioners Court on June 16th. You'll notice in the approved order there's not an early voting location in Gun Barrel City. The closest polling location will be the new Henderson County Annex Building located in 7 Points, also known as the Old Prosperity Building. This was determined after careful consideration among the elections admin, Judge McKinney and Commissioner Tooley, concluding that they don't have the resources to establish an additional early voting location. On Election Day, however, Gun Barrel City Hall will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early voting begins October 19th and runs through October 30th and includes weekends. And again, staff recommends adoption of this ordinance, and following its adoption, staff will continue fulfilling the city's required duties for an election. I also anticipate the special election page to be live on our website next week, and that will continue to be updated as we move along. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Jen, just real briefly, go back to the slide where it's at the actual voting, one more. Can you explain both of those for everyone so everybody kind of knows what they're?
Sure.
Because I've been told sometimes this is confusing.
Yeah, so section 611 gives us directive regarding ballot language. So it specifically says in there, should ordinance number O 2026-003, which was adopted by the city council, be repealed. So if you vote for repeal, you are voting to not have that ordinance in place. If you vote against the repeal, you're voting to have that ordinance that city council approved in place.
Thank you, Janet.
Does that answer that? And we'll also, just so everyone knows, be putting out information on our Facebook page, just factual information regarding the ordinance and how to vote, like the question you just asked, so people are aware.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
7H. Do I have a motion?
I move that we take action to adopt ordinance number O-2026-035, calling a special election for November 3rd, 2026, to submit to the voters a proposition initiated by referendum relating to the repeal of ordinance number O-2026-003, amending animal control and Appendix 1 fee schedule.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes. Jacobs, yes.
Proper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7I, consider and take action to approve an interlocal agreement with Henderson County to conduct the city's November 3rd, 2026 special election. Again, our sponsor on this is our city secretary, Janet Dillard.
Thank you, Mayor. Serving alongside item 7H is a proposed interlocal agreement with Henderson County to conduct our special election. The estimated cost is a little over $3,600. This election expense will be incurred during the next fiscal year's budget cycle, which has not been finalized yet, but staff does recommend approval of this agreement.
Questions for staff? If none, do I have a motion?
A motion to consider and take action to approve an interlocal agreement with Henderson County to conduct the city's November 3rd, 2026 special election.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Roper, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Roper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7J, consider and take action to adopt resolution number R-2026-013, authorizing the city manager to close the certificate of a deposit account ending in 1007 at Prosperity Bank, transferring the proceeds to the city's general fund. Our sponsor on this will be our great city treasurer, Mickey Rainey. I will first read into the record the resolution. Resolution number 2026-013, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gun Barrel City, Texas, authorizing the closure of certificate of deposit account number ending 1007 at Prosperity Bank and transferring the proceeds to the city's general fund account. Ms. Rainey.
Mayor and council, we brought this to you in March to close the 2 CDs at Prosperity Bank. For some reason, there was a miscommunication with the bank. This one did not close, so it renewed for an additional 4 months. It's now up for renewal next month, so we are bringing it back to council to send them the resolution to actually close it, move it to the general fund, and move it to Techstar. Right now, it's at approximately $165,000. The interest rate with Techstar as of July 16th was 3.63%.
Questions for Mickey? If none, thank you, Mickey. Do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt resolution number R-2026-013, authorizing the city manager to close the certificate of deposit account ending in 1007 at Prosperity Bank and transferring the proceeds to the city's general fund account.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Burns, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote for my right, please.
Edwards, yes.
Roper, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Lander, yes.
Burns, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
7K, consider and take action to award the bid for a certified public accountant to perform annual audits on all city accounts for the next 3 fiscal years. Again, our sponsor on this will be our city treasurer, Mickey Rainey.
City staff went out for proposals for auditing services for fiscal year 26, 27, and 28 on June 7th and June 14th. Those were posted in the paper. And we accepted bids until July 14th, and they were opened publicly at City Hall. We received 3 proposals based on the evaluations, which is attached. Staff is recommending to use BGFN Certified Public Accountants out of Temple, Texas for independent audit services for fiscal years 26, 27, and 28. I actually have no preference here. I can work with anyone, but if you'll look, we had 3 bids. The first one was from Don Allman, who is our current auditor. Because we had other bids, his bid was disqualified. The next bid received was from Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, and then the third bid was from BGFN, and you can see how each one was rated. Any questions?
Questions for staff? If none, do I have a motion?
I move that we take action to award the bid for the certified public account to perform annual audits on all city accounts for the next 3 fiscal years to BGFN.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Edwards, second.
I have a motion and a second. If no further discussion, vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Roper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mickey. 7L, consider and take action to ratify the EDC board appointments made at the May 27th, 2026 council meeting. Our sponsor on this will be our interim city manager, Steve Norwood, please.
Mayor and council, back at the May city council meeting, there was an executive session item to discuss economic development. And as you know, anytime you go into executive session, you can come out and take action as long as it relates to that. Action was taken to appoint 2 council members, April Burns and Jennifer Jacobs, to 2 vacant positions on the EDC. This is really just to, I guess, ratify what has already been done, just to make it abundantly clear that these 2 individuals are on the EDC board. There's, I know, some thought or discussion that, you know, what about the charter? Well, state law allows 4 council members to serve on the board, and anytime there's a discrepancy between the charter and state law trumps. So this is to make that, I guess, second time around even more official or formalizing what was done previously. So that's the item before you to reconfirm those 2 appointments.
Any further discussion? Questions? Do I have a motion?
I motion to consider and take action to ratify EDC board appointments made at the May 27th, 2026 council meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Lander, second.
I have a motion and a second. No further discussion. Vote for my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Proper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion passes. 7M, will now open a discussion regarding the final draft of ordinances, chapters 110 through 117. Again, I will turn it over to our interim city manager, Stephen Norwood, please.
Mayor and council, this item before you, I know there's been a lot of work on updating various city ordinances over the past several months and years. This is a discussion item only. There's been some red line versions that have been generated. There's probably some additional discussions. I know there's a couple of questions that you'll see through here, you know, calling out, is this something that we can do? Does this conflict with any other provisions? So this has not gone to the city attorney for a final review. We're still in that discussion mode. So, you know, there are some things in there that Councilmember Burns and I discussed earlier that may need to be tweaked just to maybe better clarify. But, and I haven't gone through it real closely. I mean, I've gone through it, but not to the level that, you know, I'm totally comfortable with. But there are some things, just probably some of it's more questions than anything. So with that, I guess we can just open that up if council has further discussions or items they want to bring forward.
I just had a small note of something I catch that I'll pass to you after the meeting. It was just something that had been crossed out that wasn't crossed out in another area, so.
Okay.
I have a few things, and I'll get the list together and get it to Steve. One of the things I wanted to discuss was, like we talked on the peddler's permit in there, it says that we used to do fingerprints and background checks, and they marked that out. I want to keep the background checks. I understand maybe not the fingerprints, but you want to know who's coming into your city, who's sitting out there selling stuff, and it takes a couple of minutes just to run a background check. So I'd like to put that back in there. There's a few things I did discuss with him on some things where it was the city manager or the designee, looking at those real well, making sure that we weren't giving that power to a designee that didn't need that. And then there are just 1 or 2 things where one place we changed the exception from city council to the city manager, which I'm fine with that, but then it goes on to say that the city, once the city council decides, well, we're not deciding if we're giving it to the, so a few cleanups, things like that. Other than that, I don't have any issues with what we've changed, I guess you'd say. And the only other thing is there are a couple of things in here that references back to our attorney where they're supposed to either change the verbiage, write up the ordinance like on the coin-operated things. I just want to make sure those come back to us before we ever, get to a final, to make sure those that we agree with whatever he writes up is the way we want it to be before it goes back for review.
If we do the background checks, I'm just curious, Who's going to review that and
Who would run the background checks? Does PD do?
That would be we can have a private firm who can look at running those background checks. Many cities do that for driver's verifications, just to make sure, because once they get employed, it's probably a good practice to do that every year or two, just to make sure nothing's changed. So there's private firms. It's not expensive.
I'm all for it. I just was wondering who would kind of regulate it and if
So like when, we're talking about like when a peddler wants to come in and sell something, set up somewhere, and I'm assuming, who actually physically runs the report with that third party? Would that be the city manager or this office that does it, or PD does?
It could, it's in some cities, it's in the city manager's office, it's in the city secretary's office. But regardless, the police department has to be very much in the know, and the information needs to be shared because they're going to be the ones enforcing that out there.
And that's what I wanted to make sure too, is in there, it also says that the peddler has to display their permit. Well, that's great when you're set up at Bales, but what about the ones that go door to door? I want to make sure that they need to have it on their person, because when they come knock on our door, I always ask, do you have a permit? I need to see it, and they'll be like, oh, the owner has it. Well, they need to have it in their person, because otherwise I don't know if he really does have a permit or not. And then making sure that PD knows who does get a permit or not, since now it was the PD used to sign off on the peddlers, now it's going to the city manager, just making sure the PD is aware, so when you call and say, hey, there's a guy at Bales or whatever, they already know, oh yeah, he's supposed to be there, so it doesn't waste their time.
can we opt for a literacy test of the peddlers that do go door to door to make sure they can read the no soliciting signs before they knock on the door?
I hear you.
So a few things. Understanding after reading this is that it can take up to 3 days to process one of these peddlers' permits. Is that correct?
It can, but, our viewpoint's going to be, you shouldn't just come in on Thursday and expect to be knocking on people's doors on Friday.
Right.
So that needs to be planned out. One other thing I would ask, and like I said, I didn't see it in here, but, do they get 2 or 3 times a year, or can they do it every weekend? There needs, I would say, kind of tighten that up a little bit. And then also on fee, it says in here, fee waivers be the city manager or designee. I would rather make that the city manager. I don't want to put a designee on waiving fees. That puts people in a very difficult spot, so make that one city manager only. But I'd really tighten that up as far as how many times they can do that. And it also forces those that want to be out there that you just can't show up the day before and expect to be out in neighborhoods.
Further discussion?
Oh, I don't run the meeting.
On the background part of that, I just want y'all to understand, we cannot do backgrounds on those permits through our state system. So it's got to be done through a private entity which is easier to do just through City Hall than it is through us. Because we'd have to purchase the same offline services to do that. We can't do that through the state system.
And then I guess we should designate who reviews those, who reviews the background.
I think the police department.
So the city could run it and then provide it to the PD if
Yes.
there was a question about it or something like that.
Right.
Permit
Clear?
department? Yeah, I'm good.
You good? All right, moving on. Number 8, economic development. 8A, consider and take action to give authorization to the interim EDC director to file a small claims petition with Slappin' Good Barbecue. We'll have our interim EDC director and city manager speak on this, but we have a citizen's comments. Shannon Pax. Is Shannon here? There you go. If you'll please come to the podium. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, my name is Shannon Prox, and I am the owner of the business involved in this matter. First, I wanted to go on record that Slappin' Good has been open now for 3 years. However, there was a 3-year delay due to the blueprint for improvement for the building to add a wall was not approved. And during that 3-year period, we had to pay, still had to pay utilities and rent for 3 years. So, due to that fact, it did cause some hardship. I respectfully ask that you consider tabling this agenda item before authorizing the filing of a small claim petition. I have not had the opportunity to sit down with the interim EDC director to discuss this matter and see if we can reach a resolution without involving the court. I believe that conversation should happen first. Litigation should be a last resort, not the first step, especially when there may still be an opportunity to resolve the issue through open communication. Tabling this item today does not prevent the EDC from pursuing legal action later if that ultimately becomes necessary. It simply allows both parties the chance to meet in good faith, better understand each other's positions, and determine whether there is a solution that avoids unnecessary legal expenses and the use of public resources. I'm here in good faith and willing to have the conversation. I respectfully ask that you give us the opportunity before authorizing litigation. I also want to say that I do a lot for the community, and I know that that doesn't excuse that, we haven't taken care of business. But I ask you to just hear me out and just give me an opportunity to take care of this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consideration.
Mayor and council, I'll defer to you on that, but there have been numerous attempts have been made over the last 3 years. And to date, there's only been about $1,000 that has been recouped. And there's been meetings in meetings that have asked, we'll be willing to work with you, cut it in half, but there's been nothing in return. An agency that was trying to recoup that on behalf of the EDC made over 250 attempts through phone calls, again, to no avail. Now, does that mean that we can't work something out? Maybe, but at this point, there's been 3 years of very little success. It's not a huge amount, but, I think from the city standpoint and from the corporation standpoint, whether it's $20,000 or $200,000, we need an agreement is an agreement. And that's where the EDC is. They've approved going forward. It will take council to effectively authorize that. But again, at this point, we'll defer to council's wishes. I don't have a lot of confidence that it's going to yield fruit, but, that's up to council.
Discussion, council?
In my line of work, it's an unfortunate reality that you often have to file intents to lien against people that don't pay. And I know one of the major deciding factors in filing that lien is the person communicating with you. It's unfortunate that it's taken a little bit to get them here. I'm very glad to see that you are here because it is pretty serious and I like your food. However, I would, take their presence into consideration that they are here, and if we could come away with a plan or potentially a type of contract, I'm not sure, because in my world you can file contracts and things like that. The municipal side, I'm unsure.
It's very hard because we always want to be good partners, and stuff. And I know that the EDC reached out, and I know that she came up here to the city, and I think even met with the city manager who asked her for a couple of forms to return to try to do some stuff and never got it back. So there has been communication, just not follow through. So I don't know.
Well, the question before you is this going to be different or is it not going to be different? And and that's a question again for council. I mean, I'm going to just, again, I don't have a vote, but I'm going to say this. If you decide that you want to give a little more time, I think there has to be a very strict time limit. And at that point in time, all discussions cease and action is taken. But again, that's just me talking. I do not have a vote, but I will defer to council on this. I know we've talked about this for a long time.
Is this,
So what is a good timeline? 2 months, 3 months?
I don't know. That's something you like. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Edwards. You guys would have to come up with that and say. But I think that would be a discussion with the owners, with Mr. Norwood. I don't mind being in on any of that. I don't think our Mayor Pro Tem has any problem being in on that. But this would be a meeting, the last meeting, I would think, and the last chance, and it has to be, you know.
I'd like to think we could try and help. We're here for the community, so try and at least one last-ditch effort.
Is there any way to draw up a contract, you know, to say, okay, you know, we could have that drawn for, you know, say ready for next meeting, whatever they agreed to pay?
They have a contract currently that they have been defaulted on for 3 years. So they've given them 3 years. I'm not saying no, I'm just saying that there is. And I know the EDC, I wish they could talk, but they went and tried to, like he said, try to say, hey, can we cut the payments in half? Will that help you? I mean, we just hadn't gotten much response. So I guess of course, we can't talk to them either. The question is, why is it different now?
The loan's been
Where
open.
you been? This is, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and that would be my question to council is, you have to ask yourself that. Why is this different? And then, do you want to give one last chance to this this small business, or do you not? But I agree with our Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Burns. I mean, they have a contract, so I think you're working off of that. But I think there's a time frame that has to be adhered to. But again, I'm just talking. I'm just the guy in the middle. You guys make the decision. But before we take any action on this, we either need a motion to table or a motion to take action. But I would just say this: if you do table, I would be shocked if some type of correspondence didn't happen first thing tomorrow morning.
And of course, tabling it, it'll bring it back next month. So if nothing constructive comes in the next 30 days, it'll still be before us in the next month, right? That's correct.
So is there an appetite to table or to take action?
I'll make a motion to table this for 30 days and give the business an opportunity to come to us and try to work something out, but with the understanding that this is the final opportunity to make arrangements for this.
I have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Lander second.
I have a motion to table and a second. We will table this item. Vote from my left, please.
Burns, yes.
Lander, yes.
Jacobs, yes.
Roper, yes.
Edwards, yes.
Motion is tabled. I would like to, before closing, I would like to acknowledge our staff. I know I speak a lot about them, and I know I'm a cheerleader for them, and I won't ever stop doing that. They're an incredible group, but this is our crown jewel this Saturday, the July Fest. I would encourage everyone to be there. It's an incredible lineup. Pat Green is always amazing. I don't care how many times you see him. He's always great. Wade Bowen happens to be one of my favorites, so I'm pretty excited about that. But I really want to reach out to everyone. It's an incredible event. I know it's hotter than blazes. I get it. But there will be a lot of stuff to do, and the EDC and the Parks Board and and all of our volunteers and the people that work so hard. They really do a great job. Big shout out to Brooke and her group, doing a great job with that. But it is an incredible event, and I would love for everyone to show up and be a part of that. And I want to end with this. I know we heard a lot of stuff tonight, and all of it is not maybe easy to hear, but it is what it is, you know, and you learn from it. You know, adversity defines you. I've always believed that. My dad taught me that. But I want to say this. With the events that happened here several weeks ago when we buried Chief Charlie Woodard, I'm going to try to get through this. I'm sorry. I saw when I came the procession, when we brought him home from Mesquite, you turned that corner, 14, 15 people deep, all the way down Main Street. For someone who was our own from the 10th through the 18th, he finished as one of theirs, but he's all of ours. And to see a community that came together like that was, it was overwhelming. And I've been to a lot of military funerals. I've been to a lot of different situations like that. But I'm going to take a page from one of my best friends, Randy Teague. And Randy said it very eloquently. And that if we just take everything that we heard today and we just digest it, take the good, the bad, and tomorrow we wake up and we go, what would Charlie do? Well, I'll tell you what Charlie would do. He'd be a servant. He'd be a relentless, selfless servant to his community. He would be positive. He would be an absolute light on everything that he touches. And I don't know a better way personally to ever honor someone except to live like that. And I'm not saying that that's your bag. But if you did it and you tried it one day, just everybody did it one day, I'm not really sure how it ends up, but I got a pretty good idea. And I tell you, no one would be more proud of that than Charlie. And we live in a great community. Free speech is an incredible thing, and we shouldn't take it for granted. And like I said, a lot was said here tonight, and all of it, I'm going to tell you right now, whether you liked it or you didn't, it's all good. It's all good, and we all get better from it, and we all will be better from it. And I appreciate those that have conducted dialogue and have opened dialogue, because that's all we ever really need. But I'm just saying, in closing, let's live like Charlie for a day, and maybe try it for a couple days. And then if you think that I'm full of baloney, you can call me on my cell phone and tell me, Coach, you're full of baloney. But I will tell you this, we live in an incredible community. I got a wonderful text from a lady today going, listen, I know we have our issues, we all have our issues, but we're one community, and this person does not live in this community. This person lives in Maybank. We are all one community, and I think that speaks volumes. And I want to thank you all for your time and being here tonight and your support. A lot of people don't show up for city council meetings, and we always have a lot of support here. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know I hate to speak for council, but I will tonight, and that I appreciate every one of you. We appreciate your support, and I hope you all have safe travels home. Thank you. This meeting's adjourned.